Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how I get this. This is my go-to curly hair look. It's very big and it's very tight curls, so it won't be for everyone, but I love this. I like to think it's the most kind of natural looking curly hair that I can do, and it's just big. It's very like, it's in your face. It's very like, I would wear this to a club. I like the attention this hair gets. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I do use the Lee Stafford Chopstick styler for this look, along with a few different products which I will be listing below. But yeah, if you would like to see how I get this look, go ahead and keep on watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the like button. This lets me know that you like what I'm doing. And please don't forget to comment. It really helps my channel grow. And yes, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Let me know if you've tried this, what products you use for this. I'm just always really happy to hear from any of you. But yeah, keep on watching if you'd like to see how I get my hair to look like this. Now for this look, it can be very tricky. So obviously you want to put some practice in, have a couple of goes on a few different occasions with different kinds of hair, different products and stuff, and see how you get on. But it's one of those styles that can go wrong very easily, or it can look absolutely amazing depending on little things can make a huge difference. Now in general, I find this style works the absolute best when I have kind of dirty hair with not a huge amount of product in it. So I washed my hair about 3 days ago. All it's had in it recently is literally, it was washed and conditioned 3 days ago, and I think I sprayed in a little bit of salt spray the day before yesterday. So it's just, it's that little bit greasy. It probably could do with a wash. This style I do find gives me a couple more days before I have to wash it, which is always handy. But yeah, the only thing I use for this, for the actual styling part of this, is Treseme's Heat Defense Spray. I do use this because the Lee Stafford Chopstick styler gets ridiculously hot and there is no temperature setting, so you are kind of playing with fire by using an item this hot on your hair. So use heat defense as much as possible and do not use any oil on your hair whatsoever. The worst thing you can possibly do is put oil on your hair and then use a boiling hot tool. So anyway, I take the Tresemme and I just spray it throughout my whole hair, to the point where it's actually just a little damp really. Just to make sure it is coated. It is a heat defense spray, so it shouldn't have any negative effect at all, really. You don't want your hair to be wet, but yeah, you definitely want to feel like the product has, touched all the parts that need protecting. I will also try to comb the product through. One nice thing about the Tresemme Heat Protectant is it does kind of have that slightly conditioning feel, so it does kind of make your hair, it works a little bit as a detangler. I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but it does it for me. So now I feel like my hair has got a fair bit of the Tresemme Heat Protectant on it. It all feels, like it's nice and covered. So what I'm going to do is start sectioning my hair off. So I always start from where the tops of my ears are, and I kind of move my thumbs downwards so that I get that whole kind of bottom section of hair here. And just clip the top up and leave the bottom down. My hair is very fine, so I can take quite thick sections. If you have very thick hair, you'll probably want to take a lot smaller sections. Big trick to using this wand, and the way that I get the style I use, is just to do everything very quickly. As I said, this thing is scalding hot. I hate to think what the actual temperature is, so I don't actually put my hair on it for very long at all. I think instructions and stuff, they say 5 to 10 seconds you can count in. Whenever I've done 10 seconds, I've ended up with like my hair like permed, like ridiculously tight curls that will not drop. So if you want that look, if you've got really long hair, you could probably get away with it, but because I've got like this length hair, it doesn't work. So what I want is for my hair to be fairly tight curl looking, but I also want it to drop and give me that kind of shaggy, wavy look. So yes, my trick is to take sections, sort of, I'll go with this size. Again, I have fine hair, so if you've got thicker hair, you'll want smaller sections. Fine hair is, you can take more, obviously, because the heat will go through it quicker. And what I'll do is I will just wrap this around very quickly and only hold it for probably 1 second and then let go. And there we go. And that's what I do, and then I'll just leave that cool in that position, so don't unravel it or anything. We'll tweak out the curls later. For now, we just want it to rest. Okay, so for the next section, you want to go the opposite direction. So on that one, I went backwards, away from my head. This one, we go forwards. And always wrap until the very end. Try and, you know, don't burn your fingers, but get right on the end there, because that is what's going to give it that really natural curly look. You want the roots to be curled, and you want the ends to be curled, because that's what makes it look really natural. Because if you had naturally curly hair, that's how it would be. Again, what I'm doing is I'm still leaving them in their kind of curl. I'm kind of stretching them down a little bit. So what that's doing is just gonna drop the curl out that little bit. I want it to be kind of shoulder length, that's why. Okay, now I'm going to take a section from the other side and do exactly the same. And what you probably can't see is I'm actually rolling the handle of the tong. I'm rolling the handle of the wand to kind of get it that bit closer to my roots as well. All the while, just be really careful not to burn your head at all. Now see, that one I held for slightly too long, so I got distracted talking to you. So you'll see this one has come out a lot tighter. But that's fine, because it's tight. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm just going to slowly and gently kind of pull it down. And what that'll do is that will loosen that curl out slightly, because hair will stay in the position it cools in. So heat reshapes the hair, and then cooling it down keeps it there. Is kind of my rule of thumb. So we'll keep stretching that down for a few seconds. But again, if you go wrong in any places, you can always go over it again at the end. So at the end of the style, you can always go back, find anything you've missed or done wrong, and just go over it again. You might find you have to do that when you wear this kind of style, because this kind of style really does go wrong easily, because you can cross the line between having really like wicked awesome kind of dreaded rocky hair to having insane perm hair, like 80s perm hair, which again, if you've got really long hair, it might look quite cool, but on short hair it just doesn't. Got my coffee in my Chocky Wocky Doodah mug. Love a bit of Chocky Wocky Doodah. And so we're going to take our second section now, and I'm going about an inch above my ear for this one, and just all the way around, straight around my head really. And again, just the thickness of your sections will make a big difference to the outcome. So kind of you have to play around with your own hair and how thick your natural hair is. So with front areas, I have to be very careful, because obviously you don't want to damage that hair. So it's almost the quickest you'll ever be is on the front areas. Wrap it around, let it go. Wrap it around, let it go. And you'll see that that thing is so hot that it didn't have to sit on my hair for long at all. And what I'm doing is I'm keeping the curl in, I'm just pulling it down to kind of relax it just that little bit, because I don't want it to be like pinged up like a spring. Pinged up like a spring. I must admit, I always complain about having fine hair, and then when I'm doing things like this, it's kind of the time I am really glad I have fine hair, because it's so much easier to style. But I'm always jealous that people with thick hair can get that beautiful straight hair where it's really, really straight, and it also has that really thick end, you know, where it looks really healthy. I call it Charlotte hair, as in Charlotte from Sex and the City. She had that big, like, thick ass, long bob sort of style. And that's something I've always wanted, but I don't think I'll ever have without extensions in. So you go, you can see that side is pretty much done. Now I know it looks a bit like at the moment, but that's because those curls are still setting. I'm not going to break anything up until everything's curled. And I just find myself going through and just picking out bits that, you know, need to be curled. Try and leave the other curls out. Again, because you're using this much heat, you don't want to go over your hair multiple times. So be careful not to overheat anything. You really want to protect your hair. Also, again, this wand, probably because it's so thin and it's so hot, I've burned myself with this wand more than I've burned myself with any other curling device ever. I just find so often I've just like knocked it against my forehead, and so I always end up with marks and things. I had one in my last video. There is actually a mark on my forehead from where I did just that. And again, just remember that you are going back, forward, so whichever direction you went with the last one, go the opposite with the next one. I'm happy with it so far. These are looking exactly the way I want them to. I hope it keeps on this way. This is one of these styles that even me, I do this style quite a lot, and most of the time it comes out exactly as I want it. But there are so many times I do this and it just comes out wrong, and I'm just like, what did I do differently this time? I think the main key is that your hair can be too clean. If I've ever done this with really clean hair, it just looks a total mess. It just goes frizzy. I think you do have to only do this when your hair is that little bit dirty, or it's got, you know, I don't know, it's got to have that natural bit of oil through it to keep it conditioned, I suppose. Stop it frizzing out. Next section, so this one's going to be much kind of bigger. I'm going to take my fingers at the points of my forehead here and go right back. So what we're doing is just taking up just the top of our hair. So any area that might be anywhere where your parting is going to be, pin all of that up. Again, it doesn't have to be neat. In fact, with curls, the less neat you are, the more natural it'll look. When I've seen other people do this, the worst it ever looks tends to be when they don't do their roots, and you can see that it's flat and then goes curly. That's why I get really right into the root, and then at the end, once I've, you know, styled out, I tend to then go back and do bits of the roots again, just to make sure that it's got that kind of thick, natural curl look to it. Another thing I didn't mention earlier is when using this tool, because obviously it's so thin and you are running your hair around it and stuff, you are always a little bit at risk of your hair tangling around it and making it harder to get off of the rod. And obviously the longer it's on the rod, more damage is being done to your hair. So my advice would be only do this on your hair when it's been combed and brushed out thoroughly. That will make it just that little bit easier to get off. So, I mean, it does snag every now and then. I've had a couple of times when my hair's snagged when I've been trying to get off the rod. I tend to keep a hold at the very end here, and then when it's time to pull, I just pull it off, and I use my fingers just to gently course it off of that rod, so like this, but not touching it. So use the heat-proof glove that comes with it to start with, and then when you feel more confident, try using your hand, but I would not do this. And obviously if you're very young, don't use this at all. Get someone older to do it for you. There we go, we have everything except the top section. I might split this top section into two. I'm very undecided. I can't decide at the moment. Let's see how my parting's falling. Ugh, I do hate when my hair looks greasy like this. It's not actually that greasy, it's just because I've got black hair, so when it's not clean it looks greasy straight away. I think this is fine. Yeah, okay. So again, right at the front of my face, this is the part you want to be really careful with. But yes, just quickly wrap it back, wrap it and let it go. And same with the bit next to it. And this one I'm going to do forward. And at this point it will look like your hair is ridiculously neat. So it looks a bit nerdy, but remember we are going to be breaking the curls apart very shortly, so don't worry about that. It does all come with time. Okay, so that's that side done. Right now it's looking like ringlets and I've got wavers in, and then we'll just do this final section here and then the curls will be done. Aha, there was a snag there and another section started to get tangled. So if that ever happens, don't carry on, stop and then redo it, because you don't want to tangle your hair. Not with this thing, because again, if your hair gets tangled around it, you're gonna mess your hair up really badly. So avoid at all costs. If you can hear the tapping in the background, that is, so right now I've got builders across the way from my window, so you can hear them. But I've also got seagulls just hanging out on our skylight, so they're tip-tapping away out there and annoying the hell out of everyone. Although I must say I actually like Brighton seagulls. I think they're quite cute. Just don't eat around them or they're gonna peck you. And you can really see, if you look, you can see the kind of awesome texture that this thing gives you because it's kind of rectangular. It does give that lovely texture. It's not just a perfect ringlet. It's almost a wave. I think we're done, folks. So there was no straight hair left on me at all. That is all curled. Yes, it looks ridiculous right now. But hey, we'll turn that off for now because it's boiling. And pop that away. I just burned my finger a little bit, so I think that's like the 100th time I burned myself with that styler, and I'm not that clumsy, I don't do it a lot. So at this point what I will do is I will go straight in with my dry shampoo. So today my dry shampoo of choice is going to be the Batiste Dry Shampoo Plus Divine Dark. That way I don't have to worry about any grey cast on my roots. But I'm just going to go right in and I'm just going to spray all over the kind of the roots of the curls. I'm going to lift them and get right in there. And go. I like to do it at this point because obviously when we start breaking the curls up and stuff, if they've already got dry shampoo on them, it's just gonna look nicer than if they were greasy. If they're greasy, the curls are gonna drop faster. So now that that's on there, I'm just gonna go and make myself a drink and chill for a bit, give myself a few minutes, let it kind of all set itself. I'll be back soon. Okay, so we're back. So right now, it's kind of looking quite cool in a weird way. I don't know why, I'm suddenly like, I just did a little impromptu photo shoot because I was thinking this looks kind of cool. Like, I don't know why. I wouldn't go out like this. I feel like it's a little too neat. It looks a little too, like too much effort's gone into it. But now is the time that we get to break it up and actually style with this. So as you can see, I've still got some dry shampoo residue on my roots and stuff. That's good, you want that. It's gonna really help to break up those curls and add some texture. And like I said, get rid of some of the grease that might have been in there to begin with. You can see also, just in the time that I've just been walking around this flat, I just made myself a cup of coffee and I read a couple of emails. That's all I've done. You'll see that the curls have already started to drop that little bit. Basically just making my hair look that bit longer and a bit more natural, which is again great. So there's lots of different ways you can break it up. You can go full house and just tip your head forward and break it up completely, and then you'll probably get really big hair. I'm gonna start off a little softer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and basically horizontally break it up. So I'm gonna break up those sections that I originally used and try and mix the curls within those sections. And I'm just being very gentle because obviously, because your hair is now so curly, it is going to knot up and you don't want to damage your hair by, you know, pulling any knots or ripping anything. So I'm just gently going through and just breaking them up. If you are worried about the oil on your hands making your hair, you know, greasy again or anything, one tip is to spray your hands with dry shampoo and then do this. My hands are pretty clean, so I'm not worried, but you can do that. I have done it in the past. And again, we're just horizontally breaking them up because the sections were reasonably large, so I want to make sure that they all intermingle and there's no big hole joins where they were before. And essentially what you're doing is just breaking all those curls apart without pulling them out, so you want to be nice and gentle, but you're pulling them apart so that they can all sit on top of each other and make your hair look really big and voluminous and just luscious. And I love when hair looks like this. Again, it's another one of those times where I am a bit jealous of people with thick hair, because if your hair's really thick, it looks even more like epic. Mine will only ever look as epic as this. But let's face it, that's pretty big hair. I'm not complaining, I like it. So, as I said earlier on in the video, at this stage, if you were finding that this area was looking a little bit flat, what I would do is just take your curling iron again and just take little sections and just like take that and just wrap the root around only, and then just let it go, just to kind of give your hair that little voomph. Again, it's just going to make it look that much thicker, and it's going to just put the curl back in anywhere where it gone a little flat on the root. But I don't think I need to do that today. This is looking pretty good to me. I'm happy with this. You can obviously brush your hair out if you want to as well, but I do feel like that can make it go very frizzy. So again, try it a few different ways before you actually commit and do it right before you go on a night out or something. I have done this look before a night out before, and it's been a disaster, and I've ended up having to just tie my hair in a bun all night. And I don't know, if you're like me, that kind of, you don't have as much confidence because you haven't got your hair on. Hair game strong means confidence strong. But yeah, this is me curled out. I'm liking this very much. To just completely finish the style off, only one more product I'm going to use. I come in with my L'Oreal Studio Pro Lock-It Fixing Hairspray. This is number 3. It's one of the best hairsprays I've ever used. It's really nice. It holds exactly what you want it to hold, and it's not too sticky and it's not too heavy. So just, yeah, it's really easy to start with, and it doesn't leave my hair feeling gross for the next 3 days. So yeah, so I just gently go through, and I just use my fingers to kind of almost bunch and smush just to get that product going through, because I'm not just using it to hold the curl, I'm also using it to try and add that extra bit more texture. It all goes into making your hair look that bit more natural. And that's it. Big curly hair, Scary Spice hair. So that's the end of this video. Don't forget to click subscribe now to be notified next time I make a video. And don't forget to click like, and don't forget to comment below and let me know your thoughts and what you'd like to see more of on my channel. Bye for now.